Our third and last talk for today is by Dr. Erik Tse-Yin Chung, who is an art historian specialized in the Himalayas and China. And his PhD on Tibetan art was from the Capital Normal University in Beijing in 2013. Erik Tse-Yin Chung joined the curatorial team of the National Palace Museum in Taipei in 2014. And he's currently responsible for the permanent gallery of Buddhist art in the museum. And he co-curated a special exhibition, Kubilgan, the Incarnated Lamas of the Qing Dynasty and Related Artifacts, in 2020. Later on, in 2022, he curated the exhibition, The Arts of the Lotus Sutra, which is very topical for today's conference. And the exhibition catalogue featured his latest research on these quite neglected items in Taiwan. And his talk today is exactly on this topic. So please welcome Dr. Erik Tse-Yin Chung.
Good afternoon. It's my great honor to be here today and had a presentation about the exhibition, The Art of the Lotus Sutra I curated. The exhibition brings together works that related to the faith of the Lotus Sutra, held in 2022 from January to July with 2 rotations every 90 days. Among the MPN collection, the Buddhist scripture didn't draw as much attention as the painting and the antiquity. However, it's not the first time our museum presents an exhibition about the theme of the Lotus Sutra. Our senior curator, Ge Wanzhang, had curated the first exhibition of the Lotus Sutra based on the theme-related painting and sculptures in the National Palace Museum collection in 1995 and published the catalog. And in our new exhibition, The Art of the Lotus Sutra, we not only expand the scale of exhibition in the number of the works in display, as well as adding antiquity related to the Lotus Sutra to the exhibition, but also try to create a new exhibition scenario based on our museum's collection. So now, please allow me to introduce a few important pieces of the MPN collection, which play as the keystone for build up the scenario of the exhibition. These are 2 states of the Lotus Sutra in our collection. Each have 7 volumes, and each volume have the beautiful frontispiece. According to the taboo's characters of Bi Hui Zi and the number of the cover, it is confirmed that the top one, produced in mid-12th century in Zhejiang, therefore it's called as the large print edition in Song Zhejiang, or Song Zhejiang Kan Da Zi Ben. The bottom one is named after in front as the song print of a manuscript written in the calligraphic style of Su Shi, or Song Kan Su Xie Ben. This is the state of beautiful 7-volume museum. Manuscript, 7-volume manuscript. According to the inscription at the end of every volume, it's dated to the 1330 AD and written by the monk Yuan Hao, with illustration by Zhu Bao, which is the student of the famous Yuan painter Wang Zhenpeng. here again, 描画银首孤云处士，孤云处士门人珠宝。孤云处士is Wang Zhenpeng. So the 珠宝 is Wang Zhenpeng's student. Okay, sorry. There's another word I just read. 写经元号啊 ，OK， the style of calligraphy is similar to that. The style of calligraphy is similar to that of Zhao Mengfu. After searching the related material, Yuan Hao is indeed a student of Zhao Mengfu. The inscription also mentioned that 法华教主明理。阅览考证法华教主明理。法华教主明理took responsible for of reviewing the text. We don't have any information about the background of the Master Minli in text, but in the frontispiece of the volume 2, the illustration of the parable of the burning house, 火宅喻, we show here, depicts 4 vehicles instead of 3 vehicles, suggests that the Master Minli is probably a Tiantai monk. This is the 4th vehicle. There are 3 vehicles here, and there's a 4th one. So it's a rare example that shows the 4 vehicle in the illustration. A Tiantai scholar believed that there should be 4 vehicles in the story. The MPA have very good collection of the Mingke manuscript in terms of quantity and quality. This is illustrated manuscript of Guanyin Sutra produced by Shen De Kurt in Ming Dynasty. It is written by the calligraphic style of Shen Du, who is the famous calligrapher in early Ming, and the so-called sheep brand paper, Yang Nao Jian. The illustration which close follow the page of the text. So it takes then the illustrator follows the text. And which follow the print edition of the 1395 AD, sponsored by Nanjing monk Sha Fuchi, which is collected in the 中国国家图书馆 National Library of China. It's particularly worth to mention that in the exhibition I have new finding on 2 manuscripts of the Lotus Sutra in our collection, particularly about their date and origin. This set of 7-volume illustrated manuscript is written and painted on silver ink on indigo papers. Its wooden cover. Its wooden cover probably manufactured by the Imperial Workshop in Qing Dynasty, indicates that the manuscript was written in Ming Dynasty, 名人书妙法莲华经. We can also find the same records in Midian Zhulin. Therefore, it's registered as the work from the Ming Dynasty in our museum inventory. After Ge Wanzhang published the image of the manuscript in our museum catalog, Professor Huang Shishan of Rice University noticed some of the decorative motif of Northern Stone Hangzhou frontispiece, such as repeated fringle and textile curtain made of a net textile and pearl-like pendant. This one. And this one, a cluster of leafy botanic branch sticking out of the Buddha's seat. These pieces from Suzhou Ruiguang Sita and dated late 9th to early 10th century. The decorative motif was inherited in the silver ink manuscript here, and you can see here. Hence, he suggests that the manuscript is the Ming pieces based on the Northern Stone Hangzhou prototype. The paper of the Professor Huang Shishan gave me an insight that the question about the actual date of the piece. After analyzing the style and the quality in both its calligraphy and the illustration, as well as considering the themes chosen to paint at the original manuscript in our collection, I believe it's a work written in mid to late Northern Song dynasty, or around 1050 AD instead of the Ming dynasty. Due to limited time, here I only show 3 visual evidence. Firstly, the style of calligraphy. This is a comparison of the calligraphy between the silver ink manuscript with the Jinsu Shan Zhang. A famous written, Jinsu Shan Zhang is a famous written Tripitaka in Northern Song dynasty, and some of its manuscript remain. And here is the Tianping Miaofa Lianhua Jin. So we will have many the same text, and we can compare the calligraphy style. The second evidence is the spatial structure in its frontispiece. The right woodcut print is discovered in the wooden statue brought back to Japan by Japanese monk and traveler Chonen in 986. In this version, the Buddha Shakyamuni preached the Lotus Sutra in Linjiushan was depicted on the upper part, and the lower part, the stupa, appearing from the earth. It's a detailed comparison between the frontispiece of silver ink manuscripts and the Chonen's woodcut print. And please pay attention to the similar space structure enclosed by the surrounding mountain, and the similar arrangement of the Buddha, Bodhisattva, and Heaven King and Li Shi, mighty man, stand on the similar rocky base. And finally, they used many horizontal clouds to strengthen the depth of the space. The third evidence is the physiology of Buddha and the Bodhisattva. And this is the comparison of the Bodhisattva in the silver ink manuscript and those from the 5th dynasty, Northern Song, and Liao dynasty. So all of these evidence point to this manuscript isn't from a Ming dynasty, but from the Northern Song instead. This is another case. In the past, we registered this 7-volume illustrated manuscript as an anonymous works in Qin China. However, it should be re-identified as the manuscript from Korea, according to its book cover and the drawing style of frontispiece, such as the spiral of Buddha's knee on the drapetory. Okay, this is the book cover, and this is the other similar object. Professor Taster, he showed the one in Metropolitan Museum, the same as the similar one. And okay, here. The spiral on Buddha's knee is a typical character of Kojo manuscript. Okay. In addition to those fine Buddhist scripture, the National Palace Museum also have the a masterpiece, bronze of Buddha Shakyamuni, with the inscription date to 477. On the back of his aureole are carved many topics, which could be divided into 3 sections. The lower 3 sections vertically. The lower part is the Buddha's birth, and the middle part is the Buddha's first preaching of the law in Sarnath, and the upper part is 2 Buddhas sit side by side in the stupa, which is the story from the Lotus Sutra. Okay, then if we interpreted the arrangement of this relief from the teaching of the Lotus Sutra, Buddha's first preaching of the law represent the so-called expanded law, the 方便法. And 2 Buddha seated side by side in the stupa represent the so-called perfect law, 圆满的法. So the bronze should be donated by a deliverer of the Lotus Sutra. The Lotus Sutras laud the merit of transcription its own text and praise the stupa with the scripture instead of Buddha's relics. Hence, it's reasonable to create an image of a 7 layers pagoda by more than 69,000 words from the text of the Lotus Sutra. And in our collections, there are 5 pieces of this type of the written pagoda of the Lotus Sutra, all dated to mid to late Ming Dynasty. Yeah, this is another example. So here the 如是我闻 it starts from here, then he will return back here. It's a very interesting object. Okay, this the painting depicts a woman with a child in her arm. Okay, here a child in her arm. We can identify she is Guan Yin instead of an ordinary woman by a willow branch in her right hand. If we look closely, you may find that her clothes are depicted by the text of Guan Yin Sutra. So that's 观世音庙菩萨庙莲花品 In order to present the art of the Lotus Sutra more completely, more wrappings of the North Dynasty was unknown from the Institute of History of the Philology of the Academia Sinica. I think this is one example. And we also display three manuscripts. Three manuscripts of the Lotus Sutra or Guanyin Sutra from Dunhuang Sacred Library, unknown from the National Central Library in Taipei. In addition, the exhibition features a digital projection of an illustration of the Lotus Sutra in Cave 61 of the Mogao Grottos, provided by the Graduate Institute of the Network and the Multimedia at the National Taiwan University, which is the team took responsibility for the representation of Cave 61 at Digital Dunhuang, 数位敦煌，数字敦煌。Okay, here, this is the picture in the gallery, photo in the gallery. In 1995, the exhibition was divided into two categories: the illustration of Lotus Sutra, and the illustration of Guanyin and the Universal Gate chapter on Guanyin. In 2022 exhibition, instead of divided our display collection by its genre and or regional or chronological orders, I hope to use the Buddhist thought or teaching as the metagraphic exhibition structure. Some scheme has been tried but failed. For example, the fourth stage that the Buddha's Bhagavad appear in the world to guide the sentient beings, the 开佛之见，会引方便品，是佛之见，悟佛之见，入佛之见，开示悟入。Finally, the traditional three-section structure of Buddhist Sutra is followed by this exhibition. In the tradition, the introduction, 序分, provided background information on where the sutra was preached and the figure involved. And the second part of the Buddhist Sutra is the 正宗分, a main exposition, which gave detailed teaching and path of practice. Then the dissemination follow as the third part, which praised the benefit of adhering to the teaching and encouraged followers to propagate the sutra. The exhibition follow this traditional structure, present the various Chinese translation and edition of Lotus Sutra, as well as extended commentaries and practice of it in the first section, because understanding the text of the Lotus Sutra should facilitate the appreciation of its iconography. In the second section, the exhibition posed the artistic representation of important theme and journey inspired by Lotus Sutra, and the third, the theme about dissemination and its actual propagation throughout Asia in Asia. Since these works are inspired by the same text of the textile, the comparison of the same theme is in different versions is the important issue in the exhibition. I used the number system, totally 50, by which visitor could find the same theme in different showcases easily. So we can show every the same number, 1 or okay. This is the stool bar appearing from the earth, the same number. Through the exhibition, visitor was expected to understand the Lotus Sutra as the text that has inspired people in East Asia for over a millennium, and the artistic achievement born out of it. And I hope the material objects I introduced today also benefit all of you, and thank you. Oh.